Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another reaction. Today we have ARForest and YUMU's song Lucir Shadow. I don't know anything else about this. I was not given any other additional context by Voltorian, the one who requested this in my executive producers, and therefore, I guess I just have to listen to it. I know it's cinematic just because I saw that in the description, but there's no other details to go off of, so I suppose, without further ado, let's go! Is that a growl in there? What was that? It was very subtle. It could have been like something shifting on the floor. I still can't tell what that is. It just happened again. I'm trying to listen. I know moving my head closer doesn't help. But I'm doing it anyway. And it's gone. We're already almost halfway through this. And I feel like we've barely begun. I probably look like an idiot just sitting here with my mouth agape, dude. Okay. Now we have a change. Roughly halfway in, so... Ooh! I did not expect this direction with it. But I kind of love that. Ooh, a little bit of dissonance in there too. It's a very playful melody. Like a very powerful, heavily supported like underscore to that. And as soon as it came, feels like it's on its way out. Of course, it's gonna kick back in one more time, but that fleeting energy. See, now it's so hopeful. It went from playful to hopeful. It's got that high-flying energy I've talked about many times. That is so fucking cool. And then just a little bit of a the atmosphere with the piano. Got the crickets going. Got a bunch of wildlife going. Oh, and they left it on that chord. They left it on a cliffhanging chord. You cheeky little shits. I love that. That's so cool. That's so cool. I didn't think I would be this into it. Like, it started out, I'm like, oh, it's going to be another, you know, orchestral piece. I've heard a bunch of them. And while I always love hearing more, there is a point where you're like, is this going to be anything new? Is it going to be unique? Is it going to be original in any way, shape, or form? Damn, was it ever. If you've ever wanted to make somebody feel nostalgic, here's your chord progression. A flat, D flat, F minor, E flat. That's all you got to do. That's literally this whole song. It's its secret sauce. But there's more to it than that, obviously. But, oh man, it's one of my favorite chord progression types. I've talked about it a few times before in the past, but this is what makes the human brain go, ooh, when it comes to like this sensation of wanting to get the energy of nostalgia out of somebody, but also that sense of adventure and moving forward and beyond. The reason that it does this is the same reason it would do this in any key. For the record, we're in A flat for this one, but the reason this works is because we start high, we drop to the lowest of the four, go back to the middle, and then you split the difference down there. So you're going all the way up, all the way down, right into the middle, and then settling halfway between the lowest and the middle one. It's how that chord progression plays in our mind. Having it be an A flat is just the extra lift that you can get out of an A flat, because you have this, but then you can also go all the way up to the top if you want to, or have something a little bit more jazzy in there if you want to get a little bit more spicy about it. But most times, that's what's going to be happening, or hell, all the way up to that octave. But the octave's harder to hear, so it's usually this one. But to be real with you, that's not the chord you would go for at the start. That would not be the one that you lift up with the seventh, like I was just doing there. You would do this, go down, go to the middle, and that is where you would lift it. And the reason you would is because when you split that difference, you're just going back to the first chord here. That's the A flat. You just have that extra note at the bottom, the F included. That's what makes it the F minor seventh. So, and then of course you just go back to the normal chord. But that's the trick there. You have something high, you have something low, then you have that middle chord. But if you really want it to lift a little bit more, you connect it directly back to the first chord. It keeps this doorway open between that first and last by adding an extra little bit of lift before you settle back down into that final chord. And honestly, you could do it with the last chord too, but if you do this, it ends on that. You can hear this little lift here, and it's like, okay, well, that's not really too useful. However, it does resolve down as well. So you could, but that's neither here nor there. It doesn't really happen in the song. That's just my brain cooking up random shit. The point of this is that lift in there, and again, you could have that seventh included to the middle. This is what makes the song feel connected. That lift, the drop, the middle, the split. And the reason this song does this thing where it starts kind of more subtle in what its emotional intent is because of the story it ends up telling. I was listening to this song so hard. When it started out, like I said, I wasn't really thinking much of it. But then once the flute came in and that got involved, I was like, oh no, here we are. Here's our main character, right? That's what happens. The main character showed up. We have this little, like, dancey, like, kind of flighty, like, just things happening around. All those chords that we were going on, they're just kind of bouncing between stuff, you know? Nothing really in particular, and it feels almost haphazardly placed because that's what would happen when you're trying to like be sneaky or be careful. It's the energy that music allows for that sort of thing. But then it comes back with this huge bright wash of energy where like all of the chords are full and it's just so much more proud. And like I mentioned, that pride, that high flying energy that came back because the second hand that came in here and just added to that low end. And in the case of the song, it's more of like the strings and such. We just got a lot of body coming out of it. So we got this resonance that passed by every single chord. No matter what we were doing throughout this entire passage, we got a little bit more body body that supported the entire song. And again, like I mentioned, mostly strings there that were like really helping beef up the bottom, and brass too. But you feel it in the song. You feel that extra oomph that's coming with it. And we lost that like singularity of the little happy dancey sort of sound that came back again a little bit later. It was like it was happy with everything it had done before, and that's why that nostalgic chord progression works really well, because we don't have that like flightiness to it, but what we have is a more refined, more steady, but still very upbeat variation of that same sort of danciness. It's just individual keys this time without having so much movement. It's an evolution. It's making the story a little bit more clear. We had that giant moment between there where everything felt huge, and maybe there was something else going on in there, be it the general like height of their adventure, or maybe they were being chased by something. I could imagine that as well. Either way though, you had that flighty danciness, and then you end in a little bit more of like this subdued sort of feeling, and it makes the song feel like it's following a character instead of just being yet another variation of the same motif. And then the end, having everything broken down, the atmosphere being what it was and taking up all of that room, getting rid of a lot of the instruments and just kind of sitting there with the piano basically all alone until we end on just a simple and clean D flat. And the reason that I was like, ooh, what they did with that, because as you probably noticed from me yapping about it already this whole time, A flat to D flat is what we were doing in the original chord progression. So we're not ending on the final chord here. We're not ending this. This would be the final chord that feels so much more final in the context of the song. The E flat is where it would want to close the book. But what they did was end it on that, which is like, cool. But why? You know, you're in the middle of something. There's more to come. There's more after this. We know that. The entire song has set us up to understand that this is not the end of the song. We're still waiting for a few more chords, and I think so is the character. That's why this song got me the way it did, because it didn't just end normally. We sat there with them at the end of everything, and we just looked at them, and we're like, are you done yet? And you knew the answer. You know there's a sequel. They're not done yet. The character that this song is about, whatever that may be, whoever that may be, there's still more to their story. And they left it on that chord being somewhere in the middle because they did not want to end it where it was. We didn't even end on the first chord, which does happen sometimes when you end songs like this. You go, okay, how do I end the song? That's a little bit more of like a melancholic final note for the chord progression. It's something where it's like, oh, we're done here. Okay. Kind of a more storybookish sort of ending, similar in that way to how the E flat would have ended it, and it just would have felt a little bit lifted, but also you feel satisfied with that because the entire time you've heard this song, you've known that to be the final thought of the entire progression. But ending it on that D flat is just kind of beautiful in its own right, and allowing that bass connection of just being separate and just having it be this whole sustained ending note. I actually did turn up the reverb a lot on this just so you can hear how these all ring out together, just going up the... and just having that be the end of it. It doesn't lift like that, obviously. You just hold the individual chords. But I only have so many hands, so I can only do so much with that. And you could connect these two, like, would be another beautiful way to end it, with a little bit more of that familiarity and solidarity at the end. You could maybe blend a couple of them, and instead of doing the exact same thing, that would sound a little bit more spooky, maybe? You know, like, there's ways to blend all these together where there's a different energy. These two clash quite a bit because E flat and A flat don't necessarily love each other, but E and A get along, famously. So it kind of leaves you with this tension of, ooh, especially in that E flat, you hear it kind of get crunchy with these notes in here. So there's a lot of room that this song could have taken, a lot of places it could have gone. But what I'm glad they didn't do is do too much with it. And they just ended on simply what it needed to do, to tell the story somewhere in the middle. We're not done yet, and they're okay with that, and we should be too. Whatever may come, that's up to fate. but we don't get to choose that. And I don't think they want to know what that is either. That's what made this song resonate so heavily with me. I've been going on forever about this song, but damn, this is one of the first songs in a while, probably since like one of Codley's tracks, where I've felt the story was so beautifully told. And it came from a place where I didn't expect it to be as well told as it did. By the end of it, I was completely hooked and on board with whatever was going on. And the fact that they ended it as beautifully and as subtly as they could there, just fucking poetry. So I think that's about all I've got to say on this one. Like I said, I've been yapping for quite a while, so thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to something else, by all means, drop in the comments below. Or if, like Voltorian did, you want to guarantee that I listen to something, you can always go to my Patreon, and if that tier is open, you can force me to listen to something. Doesn't matter what it's from, doesn't matter who it's by. If it's good or bad, that doesn't matter. That's why it's a guarantee. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!